This is my last broadcast as the anchorman of the CBS Evening News. For me, it's a moment for which I long have planned, but which nevertheless comes with some sadness. For almost 2 decades, after all, we've been meeting like this in the evenings, and I'll miss that. But those who have made anything of this departure, I'm afraid, have made too much. This is but a transition, a passing of the baton. A great broadcaster and gentleman, Doug Edwards, preceded me in this job, and another, Dan Rather, will follow. And anyway, the person who sits here is but the most conspicuous member of a superb team of journalists, writers, reporters, editors, producers, and none of that will change. Furthermore, I'm not even going away. I'll be back from time to time with special news reports and documentaries, and beginning in June, every week with our science program, Universe. Old anchormen, you see, don't fade away. They just keep coming back for more. And that's the way it is. Friday, March 6th, 1981. I'll be away on assignment, and Dan Rather will be sitting in here for the next few years. Good night.
This has been the CBS Evening News with Walter Cronkite. Johnny Miller's back, hot off 2 tournament wins, including the LA Open. This year's leading money winner will defend his title at the Inverrary Classic, starting tomorrow at 4, 3 Central and Pacific on CBS Sports. This is CBS.
How are you doing?
I'm doing okay.
He's got good days and bad days.
The worst of it is when you reflect back on some of the guys that you knew personally that were lost.
Only one of that squad is still at the Chinatown firehouse. Sal D'Agostino is there. Billy Butler and Matt Komorowski were promoted, now lieutenants. Tommy retired, and Mike Meldrum is on light duty, still recovering from 9/11.
Mike has good days and bad days, same as I do, same as everybody else does. You know, so it's going to be a struggle, you know, for all of us, probably for the rest of our lives.
As the weeks and months passed, the anger and pain began to ease. But we will never forget.
In the immediate wake of 9/11, and certainly here in New York City, I've never seen the city so as one.
The city is a different place than it was on September 10th. I have friends who live outside the city, and I saw them recently, and they said, well, everybody in the city seems so friendly. I think a little bit of small town came into New York City as a result of September 11th. It was such a unique experience, not only for the city, but for the country. It was a shared horror, a shared tragedy.
September 11th, 2001. We've shared a lot in the 24 years we've been meeting here each evening. And before I say goodnight this night, I need to say thank you. Thank you to the thousands of wonderful professionals at CBS News, past and present, with whom it's been my honor to work over these years. And a deeply felt thanks to all of you who have let us into your homes night after night. It has been a privilege, and one never taken lightly. Not long after I first came to the anchor chair, I briefly signed off using the word courage. I want to return to it now in a different way. To a nation still nursing a broken heart for what happened here in 2001, and especially to those who found themselves closest to the events of September 11th. To our soldiers, sailors, airmen, and Marines in dangerous places. To those who have endured the tsunami, and to all who have suffered natural disasters and who must now find the will to rebuild. To the oppressed and to those whose lot it is to struggle in financial hardship or in failing health. To my fellow journalists in places where reporting the truth means risking all. And to each of you, courage. For the CBS Evening News, Dan Rather reporting. Good night.
a day. Click on cbsnews.com. Brought to you in part by Walmart, working together with local suppliers to bring your community local goods, job opportunities, and low prices. This is CBS.
Well, as I mentioned earlier, tonight brings to an end my year and a half here in New York. Next week, I'll be back on my old beat in Washington, but we're ending just the way I like, with a scoop, the first look at our new state-of-the-art newsroom. I can't give you a tour because it's not quite finished yet, but here is someone who will be a permanent fixture, my friend Katie Couric.
Hey, Bob. You know, I can't imagine following in the footsteps of a kinder, more gracious person. So thank you so much for everything. Of course, you'll continue to play a very important role in this broadcast. And before you head back to Washington, though, we want to take a look back because you've had quite a ride.
Here we go. This is the last take, a good take. 5, 4, 3.
Before Bob Schieffer had the grand slam of Washington reporters working every beat inside the Beltway.
Bob Schieffer, CBS News, the White House.
Before he started covering presidential conventions in 1972.
Well, Dan, I think I finally found honest work.
And everyone since. Before he walked the White House grounds with the most powerful leader in the world, he covered a par 2 18th hole.
Bob Schieffer, CBS News at the National Putt-Putt Championships.
Back then, management didn't see Bob as anchor material.
Who wants more pizzazz in the stand-up?
But he became the one CBS turned to in one of its darkest hours.
Good evening, I'm Bob Schieffer, and tonight we turn a page at CBS News.
When Dan Rather stepped down 18 months ago following the National Guard document scandal, at 68, Bob became only the 4th solo anchor of the CBS Evening News.
And you really came in as the replacement quarterback at a really pretty difficult time for CBS News. It was a pretty dark chapter.
We were in a very hard place, Katie, in a very hard place. And I said on the first broadcast, the first thing we have to do is get our credibility back.
It's funny that people have described you as an overnight sensation 4 decades in the making. Is it odd, though, to get so much attention and acclaim at this point in your career?
You want me to tell you a secret? I've really enjoyed it.
Not exactly a well-kept secret to our audience.
In fact, that makes no sense at all.
How long has it been since you've seen someone wearing a monocle?
Bob's been at CBS since he was 32, but started dressing for the job in the 9th grade. He dropped the bow tie to become a beat reporter, covered the JFK assassination at 24, and later the war in Vietnam for his hometown paper in Fort Worth, Texas.
Personally, I'm thrilled to death. I'm a newspaper reporter, and this is the name of the game.
Some 2,000 interviews later.
How can I know that you're telling the truth?
He still sounds a lot like that 26-year-old newspaper man.
We need to go out and find out what happened and then tell people about it in language that they can understand. And when we've done that, it can be a noble thing.
If he seems to keep it all in perspective, it's because he has some. 3 years ago, Bob was diagnosed with bladder cancer. He didn't know if he'd be able to return to a job. He never imagined it would be this one.
I've had a wonderful, wonderful life. And it's a longer life than I probably deserved, and frankly, that even I thought that I would have. And I just hope I can, make good use of the next chapter in the next days.
To be able to say that every new chapter is better than the last is quite a gift, isn't it?
It is, and that's why I feel so fortunate. Some of it was just luck, and I always try to remember that. I'm the product of many things and many people. I don't buy into this self-made man business. From my mom and my wife and my daughters. I really learned from them, and in the end, they helped me and made me what I got to be.
It's so sweet to hear you talk about your family, and I know Pat and the girls and other members of your family are here tonight. So, Bob, thanks again, and now the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Katie. Thank you very much. You know, most people don't get to hear things like that said about them until their funeral. I'm really glad I got to hear that one. And may I say a word to each of you out there? This was a totally unexpected adventure for me, but I've loved every minute of it. Spending this last year and a half helping to shape and sometimes guide this great news organization has been one of the most rewarding experiences of my life. In March of last year, you invited me into your homes, but what made me feel good is that you were kind enough to invite me back. I will always remember that. Russ Mitchell will be here tomorrow and Monday, and then it will be the CBS Evening News with Katie Couric. Good night, everyone. I'll see you the next time from Washington.
This is CBS.
And now, as many of you know, this is my final broadcast on the Evening News. It's been an extraordinary privilege to sit in this chair and a real honor to work with so many talented people here at CBS News. We thought we'd take a look back at some of the history-making people and events we've covered. So here now, 5 years in 5 minutes. When you look back on the last 5 years, is there anything that you wish you had done differently?
Yeah, I mean, I wish, for example, Abu Ghraib didn't happen.
I care deeply about stem cell research.
Either he didn't take his medication or he's acting, one of the two.
I could give a damn about Rush Limbaugh's pity. I'm not a victim.
Since Sunday, the Southern California wildfires have burned nearly 400 square miles, an area larger than New York City.
For the record, have you ever used steroids, human growth hormone, or any other performance-enhancing substance?
No.
The gunman came to our class, shot the person that was sitting next to me.
What did you hear?
At first it sounded like hammers on the wall.
I never once considered that, in fact, this administration would betray my identity as payback.
Of the 30,000 additional troops sent here for the surge, more than 26,000 were deployed to secure Baghdad.
When we were on the outskirts, we would drive in every day to conduct patrols. Now we're here permanently. We can walk.
Who is the single most impressive person you've ever met?
It would have to be Nelson.
It probably would be Ronald Reagan.
Did the addition of 30,000 additional troops help the situation in Iraq?
Katie, there is no doubt that our troops helped to reduce violence.
Are you worried you're going to have to pull your punches a bit? It's a different dynamic, isn't it?
I don't know, is it?
Hey, can I call you Joe? I think I'm safe.
The United States is deeply unpopular in Pakistan. Do you think the Pakistani government is protecting al-Qaeda within its borders?
I don't believe that new President Zardari has that mission at all.
I, Barack Hussein Obama, do solemnly swear.
Who's to say you're reading the tea leaves accurately now? The haunting image of a young woman dying in the street has now been seen all over the world. You have consistently denied the Holocaust happened. These are dead bodies from a German concentration camp. Is this photo a lie?
There are many historical events. Why is this one in particular so important to you?
This is Cactus 1539. We may end up in the Hudson.
When did you realize the engines had failed?
I knew immediately that it was very serious.
3,240. The number of days the war here has gone on.
Pleased to nominate General David Petraeus.
Are you disappointed things aren't as stable, and are you concerned they could unravel as combat forces leave the country? Is it all over your face and it's healed?
This is the corner where an SUV was parked full of explosives. Nearly every street is an obstacle course of debris and the dead.
Breathe, breathe, breathe. Squeeze my hand.
Why? Why? Why?
it's inhumane. Like, no person would actually keep their animals in this state.
Frantic preparations are underway for yet another attempt to stop this massive oil leak.
It is like chocolate syrup, isn't it? It's so thick. They continue to pray for the wounded as doctors inside treat the victims, including Democratic Congresswoman Gabrielle Giffords.
They've given us permission to take her down to the launch, so
wow.
We're pretty excited about that. Yeah.
I bet you are. If President Mubarak thought last night's announcement was going to restore stability, apparently it's done quite the opposite. Now pro and anti-Mubarak demonstrators. A record earthquake in Japan triggers a mammoth tsunami.
I can report to the American people that the United States has conducted an operation that killed Osama bin Laden.
Tonight, the man who ordered the attack that destroyed the towers is dead.
A very modern wedding for a very modern couple.
Fabulous. Sorry it's such a crummy day.
He's currently serving in...
That was when you were living on the street?
You know, that was actually when
How many people come up to you and ask you to say, go ahead, make my day?
Quite a few.
Would you do it for me?
Go ahead, make my day.
Hello, how are you? And to all of you watching, thank you so much for coming along with me on this incredible journey. That's the CBS Evening News for tonight. I'm Katie Couric. Good night.
This is my last broadcast of the CBS Evening News. We hope this has been something of a lighthouse for you to help you with your bearings in a stormy world. To the men and women of CBS News, my profound gratitude. Your nights away from your families, your 12-hour days, the days you risked your lives to bring light into the world, leave me humbled. Our audience can and should take your work for granted, but I know the measure of your sacrifice. James Madison once wrote that freedom of the press is the right that guarantees all the others. The stakes are that high, and you are the best we have. Monday, Anthony Mason will be here, backed by the same team that has carried me these 6 years. The broadcast will have never been better, and I'll be at 60 Minutes. So, for all of us at CBS News all around the world, goodbye and good luck.
As we leave here tonight, I just want to say thanks. This is a short broadcast, but a long game. Through it all, the people who put on the evening news remain committed. This program will be moving to Washington, D.C. in the coming months. I wish Norah O'Donnell the best of luck, though she won't need it because of all the people backing her up. So I'd like to use the time I have left on this night to recognize them. Their hours are long and unpredictable. Their family and friends are unfailingly patient. I am awed every day by their dedication to writing the first draft of history and telling America's story. I am awed by their grace. I thank them and you. I'll see you soon. Good night.
As many of you know, this is my final evening news broadcast. It has been an incredible 5.5 years, and I'm told we have a surprise guest. Honestly, I don't know who it is, to help us look back.
Hey, Norah! Oprah here. Congratulations. You have so much to be proud of. Your work as the anchor and managing editor of the CBS Evening News has not only won awards, but more importantly, has made such a difference and informed our nation. It is impossible to highlight 5 years of masterful storytelling, but let's give it a shot.
This is the CBS Evening News with Norah O'Donnell.
Good evening. It's good to be with you.
The CBS Evening News with Norah O'Donnell started as a whirlwind.
I'm Norah O'Donnell at the Kennedy Space Center in Florida.
Making an incredible impact on your first week.
I'm Norah O'Donnell here on the southern border in Texas. Have you ever let cameras inside here before, like this?
No.
You traveled the whole way with your son?
Sola.
Sí, sola.
And Norah, you didn't stop making an impact then. Your interviews and investigations have led to change.
Tonight, the U.S. Army is responding to our exclusive CBS News investigation into sexual assault in the military and acknowledging they must do better. How many of you think there needs to be something massive that happens, like a Me Too movement for the military? We're here in Buffalo, New York. We are live tonight from here in Maui. Hurricane Dorian is here in Florida.
Every major breaking news story. Norah, you were there and I was watching.
This is just unlike anything I've ever seen before. It's like an ashen moonscape.
We're here with the U.S. Coast Guard.
Traveling the country.
Oh, wow, the stadium's right there.
And the world.
We're on a Navy MH-60 helicopter right over the Red Sea.
We're broadcasting live aboard the USS Nimitz, and while we can't give you our exact location, we can tell you we are in the western Pacific Ocean.
All right, there's max afterburner, 100 miles an hour. Oh my gosh.
You've committed to honoring America's heroes and telling their stories.
How were you going to take down Flight 93?
We were going to have to hit the airplane and disable it somehow.
A kamikaze mission.
Our only choice was going to be to ram the airliner.
If I'm a parent in your state, I'm like, what's Congress doing? Why are you taking so long?
You ask the tough questions to the people in charge.
Why not say what restrictions you would support as part of that?
I've told you.
Do Republicans have a spending problem?
Yes, of course.
Getting Americans the answers we all deserve.
Are higher prices here to stay? The U.S. Capitol has been placed on lockdown.
Not only have you covered history, Norah, you also made it.
Buongiorno, Your Holiness.
With the first of its kind papal interview.
Do you like when you are called the People's Pope?
El Papa de la gente.
Who loves running? Me!
Oh my goodness, hi, I'm Norah O'Donnell.
Well, of course you are.
And you're Dolly
Parton.
Parton.
I don't know that? I'm not one for speaking out much, but that don't mean I don't stay in touch.
And amplifying the voices of so many women.
You must speak out for your rights.
We are coming on the air with breaking news.
Through countless hours of breaking news and nearly 1,300 broadcasts, Norah, you've treated each story with grace and compassion.
They are alive because of their parents' love for them.
Yeah, exactly.
May their memory be a blessing.
Amen.
Putting world events into context.
1 year ago, our world was turned upside down, but our perspective turned right side up. The things we took for granted, we won't take for granted again.
Offering a hug. A little laughter.
I'm sorry.
And a whole lot of smiles along the way. Woo, Norah. You did all that and more. You have so much to be proud of, and you're only getting started. So we all cannot wait to see all you accomplish as CBS News senior correspondent. We'll be watching. You know I've been watching, calling you about those suits, and I will continue to watch, and we're all cheering you on always.
Wow, Oprah, thank you. This has been the honor of a lifetime to anchor this legacy broadcast. You know, the CBS Evening News is, for good reason, the longest-running evening newscast in America. And it is powered by the finest journalists around the world, the correspondents, producers, researchers, and crews who work tirelessly to bring you the news every night. And that won't change because journalism matters. I know that because I've heard it from so many of you, our viewers. So, from the bottom of my heart, thank you for trusting us and welcoming hard news with heart into your homes. I will miss you too, but I will see you on CBS News programs, including mornings, 60 Minutes, Sunday morning, and in prime time. So, for the final time, that's tonight's CBS Evening News. I owe it all to everybody I work with, honestly. Love you. Good night.